Hey there, and welcome to a new episode of Literature Snacks, the set of videos on our YouTube channel where I provide an analysis of a literature masterpiece in roughly 15-20 minutes. Today we go straight back to the 14th century in the Middle Age and we talk about the Canterbury Tales from Geoffrey Chaucer. Are you ready? So, shall we go? The Canterbury Tales is a very important masterpiece of English literature for several reasons. For the time in which it was written, for the language in which it was written, and for its innovative contents. But first, let's talk about the author and the period in which he lived. Geoffrey Chaucer was born between 1343 and 1345. Unfortunately, we don't have a precise date. He did several professions. He started as a lower-level court official. He worked his way in the court and married an attendant to the queen. Once his reputation at court was established, he traveled to Italy and France as a spy for the king. It's in this occasion that he came in contact with French and Italian society, along with their literature, that definitely inspired him for his Canterbury Tales. We can consider the Canterbury Tales a window on the past, for his ability to describe thoroughly the society of the time, which was adapting to the turbulent social changes that were happening at the time. In fact, the late 14th century was a very chaotic time for England, as it had been devastated by the plague called the Black Death. The church power was put at risk by lollards, followers of a philosopher from Oxford University who questioned some radical religious views. In 1381, a peasants' revolt took place in response to new taxes imposed after the Black Death shortage. Clearly, English society was starting to detach from the static division of three groups that has existed up to then. Medieval society was divided into three classes: nobility, strictly bound to rules of chivalry and courtliness; clergy, formed by people who didn't work and supposedly weren't interested in material goods; peasants, that include all the working classes. To be fair, this system was shaken by the usual element that we study in history. A new middle class was emerging. It was made by educated workers, lawyers, doctors, clerks, merchants. Chaucer himself was part of this class. The period in which Chaucer was living and writing was a period of transition, deep changes, and he demonstrated an excellent level of prowess in understanding and representing how people conceived the society at the time. The Cathedral of Canterbury, with its wonderful Gothic style, in the Middle Age, it was a popular destination of pilgrimage. Drawing his inspiration directly from the Italian poet Boccaccio, not Boccaccio, and his masterpiece Il Decamerone, Chaucer tells about a group of pilgrims gathering at the Tower Inn in London, ready to start their voyage to the cathedral. The innkeeper has an idea. He proposes that everyone will tell a story, a tale, while they're traveling to suit the long journey. He will judge the best story and the winner will have a meal for free at the inn. The challenge is happily accepted, and from now on, the book is a succession of different narrators, different styles, different points of view. Chaucer amazes us with his ability to walk in someone else's shoes, to mock different characters and classes, and to understand the human nature so deeply. 24 characters tell their story, offering their vision of the world. They are all different people, and Chaucer uses them also to represent and satirize their social classes. Let's talk about the characters. Chaucer. First of all, Chaucer is a character of the book. He does not call himself Geoffrey, but he is present in the tavern and notes down things about the characters. He has no problems in offering us a description of characters filtered by his own prejudice. And we as readers are also warned to accept this opinion as his own and not as general truth. The 24 characters that tells the tale, some with their own prologue, where they can describe themselves and we as reader get to know them better, are all chosen as occasion to sketch the society of the time. The knight. He is the first pilgrim the narrator describes and the first one telling the story. He is a valorous fighter and a genuine example of chivalry. The squire. The squire is training as a knight, so he is chivalrous and genteel, but he's still vain about his clothing and appearance. The prioress. She should be devoted to Christ, but Chaucer shows very well how her clothing is rich and embroidered and how her collar rosary is more of a decorative piece rather than a religious article. Chaucer makes fun of her by describing how badly she speaks French and how irritating she sounds when she sings. The monk. As another example of the corruption of the church, the monk prefers going hunting rather than reading in his cells and wears richly decorated clothing instead of his classic tunic. The friar. Friars were mendicants who were supposed to live out of the charity of people, but this friar cultivates a relationship with rich men to make a profit and again he wears rich clothes. So, not the best picture the church could get. The merchant, member of the class which Chaucer, author, not a narrator, belongs to, he wears a fashionable and colorful clothing. But the narrator tells us that this is just a device to hide his debts. The fact that the narrator knows this is the proof that he's not doing his profession so well. This is a class that still has a lot to learn. The man of laws. Another member of the middle class, he works hard and tries to raise his situation through his merits rather than through his birth. The franklin, a free and wealthy landowner who provides meals and entertainment for the peasant working on his land. His tale is about a happy marriage based on trust and faith. The wife of Bath. Surprisingly, Chaucer demonstrates an attentive spirit toward women, and the wife of Bath with her tale is clearly the proof. She is a seamstress, but she is a wife by occupation. Married 5 times, she claims to have a deep knowledge of marriages and the relationship between men and women. Described with a coating of lust for her red clothing and a gap between her teeth, she is not afraid to push her opinion in front of the state. We could say she is a feminist. The reeve. At the time, a reeve was a manager of an estate. Slender, old and crabby, he has been so attentive in managing money that he is now richer than his boss. He is a symbol of the inefficacy of the way society was divided, because he is more than a peasant. The summoner. This is a religious figure who brought people to ecclesiastical court to confess their sins. He is a corrupted man, ready to be bribed in exchange for a full pardon. His corruption inside is shown also on the outside by a disgusting skin disease that makes his face pimple and scaly. The host. The host is the one that places the challenge of the tales. He joins the pilgrimage only with the purpose to judge the tales. His presence almost cancels completely the meaning of the pilgrimage. If you know someone who did even just a part of the pilgrimage to the Santiago of Compostela, you would know that the journey is not for fun, but to seek a religious guidance or even yourself, which is not how the characters of Canterbury tales are living the journey. The miller. The miller is an aggressive drunkard. We know this by his appearance and from the way he interrupts the order of storytelling by insisting in telling his tale before his turn. His tale itself is about people as deceptive and violent as he is. Chaucer makes no mystery of his opinion about this kind of people. The cook. The cook is explicitly based on a real figure, and the host makes remark on how bad is the food that he prepares. In this character, we can see Dante's influence on Chaucer. The parson. A good representative of his class, the parson is a devout priest, sincere and affectionate to his parishioners, living exactly as he says, traveling through snow and rain to the farthest corner of his parish. The clerk is a poor scholar that spent all his money in books and claims that his story comes from a gentleman of Padua, named Francis Prater. Do you know him? The clerk is a symbol of how poverty doesn't mean misery of the mind and of the soul. The second nun and the nun's priest. These two characters are not mentioned in the general prologue, but they get to tell their story anyway. Their story, though, redeem in a certain way their social class. They suggest that they are modest and self-effacing. Again, we can see the great lucidity of Chaucer in seeing the society as a whole. The physician. The best in his profession, the physician seems to do his job more for the love of money than for any other reason. His soul, in fact, is allegedly corrupted, as he seldom opens the Bible, and again, the meaning of the pilgrimage fades away. The pardoner. The pardoner was a figure who granted papal indulgences in exchange of money. We know how this affair would destroy the church in a few centuries thanks to Luther, but through Chaucer we can see that some concerns about this matter were already rising at the time. In fact, the pardoner is a greedy man determined to make money out of religion in any way he can, including by selling false relics. The shipman. The shipman is an old version of the character of anime Lupin. He is an expert in sailing, he's seen a lot of cities, he's a thief, but he's not a hypocrite, suggesting that he is more moral than some people from the clergy or from the middle class. The manciple. Another symbol of the rising middle class, the manciple was a figure who collected provision for a college or court. Despite his role, he is smarter than all the lawyers he works for. There are a few reasons why we consider Chaucer the father of English literature. The first one is definitely that he chose the vernacular, the English of the time, to write his Canterbury tales. No other artist had ever done it before. Linguistically speaking, this has given a great boost to English as a language. What has always fascinated me about this book is the realism with which Chaucer describes the whole humanity, showing us in some way how humanity's society has indeed never changed. By publishing it, he also brought England to the Renaissance, as Italy and France were already experiencing it. It's a great book that meant a lot for England and English literature, and it's a source of pride for us, as it has been Italian artists to inspire this. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumb up. If you want to see more videos about literature and history, please subscribe to the channel. Remember, we are a language school. We teach English, French, Spanish, Italian for foreigners. We deliver lessons online and in presence. We teach adults and teenagers. If you wanted to follow us on the social media, this is our Facebook page. This is our Instagram page. This is our email address. You can write to us and ask any question that you want about literature or about English courses. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon with another History Sparkle. Bye bye!